Chase Bank, after reporting some major losses in 2024, they are completely different in 2025. But the good news is that yes, you still can get approved for business funding with Chase. However, now more than ever, it is vital to know exactly what you need to have before you apply and how the process has changed in 2025 and beyond when it comes to getting business funding with Chase. And this is coming from someone that has the Chase business line of credit for 150K. And also, I've helped my clients get over $5 million in business funding with Chase up to date. Really, we need to update that number because I'm sure that it's more, but we've seen it all. We have gone through Chase extensively. So on this video, this is going to be a complete guide on how to get business funding from Chase in 2025 and beyond. So without this, I'm telling you, you're going to be shooting in the dark. A lot of you guys think that you know more when it comes to business funding than what you actually do. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying that you guys watch these videos on YouTube that were published like a year ago or something like that, and things have changed a lot. So I'm telling you, you're going to need this video if you're very serious about getting funding from Chase. So without any further ado, let's begin. So Chase Bank, this is the largest institution in the United States of America, pretty much the biggest bank in the world with $3 trillion in assets. That expands in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. So you can get funding from Chase no matter what. Now, one reason that you would want to go to Chase is not only for the reach, of course, they're in every state, but also because they are new business and new relationship friendly. What does that mean? That means that if you just started your business or if you just started your relationship with Chase, you still can apply and get approved for funding with Chase. However, I'm not saying that that's going to be optimal or anything like that, but it is possible. So that's going to make Chase one of your best choices. But that also doesn't mean that you just apply all willy-nilly and you don't involve strategy here. When you apply for Chase, what you put on your application, all of that still matters a lot. So just keep that in mind. Now, they also have high approval rates. They really do. Compared to other banks that have high approval rates. So this is going to be a bank that you can apply and know that if you have everything in line, you will at least get an approval. But really, it's about getting high limit approvals, okay? Now, personal credit requirements. I've seen approvals at like 680 on the personal credit side. I've seen credit history only a year or so get approved. Is it optimal? No. But the reason this matters is because if you're either starting out and you just need like a 5 to 10K to 25K approval, or you're being strategic and you're using this funding in order to pay down your personal credit cards, pay down on the business credit card, something like that, right? You know that you can reliably get access to funding for Chase, even if you don't have the absolute best situation. But again, that's strategy involved, because if you're in an even better situation, you want to maximize on that. You don't want to go in just willy-nilly, right? Utilization does not have to be the absolute lowest. We like to see single digits, but it doesn't have to be the absolute lowest when it comes to applying and get approved with Chase. At least 1 year of credit history, though. They don't really like new credit history as far as approvals with their business products. So at least have 1 year credit history. Keep in mind, when I say 1 year credit history, I am referring to at least having 1 year on a personal credit card, not a student loan that you've had for like 10 years. I mean, a primary personal credit card, not an authorized user. You need to have for at least 1 year before you apply with funding for Chase. Inquiries, they normally pull from Experian, but they definitely can pull from TransUnion, and we've even seen Equifax before. So it really depends on where you are in the country. But yes, you can apply with higher inquiries, but of course, it's going to be better to not have as many inquiries, right? So derogatories, yeah, we've seen approvals even with having even charge-off accounts. However, not optimal. Chase is a guy. Let me break it down to you like this. Even though Chase is someone that has a higher threshold as far as approval rates, so approval rate is going to be higher than other banks where you don't have to be just perfect to get approved, but also their ceiling is the highest, meaning that they will give you the most amount of funding than anybody else will, pretty much, given the exact same, all things considered, right? Relationship is going to be the number one determining factor whether you get an approval or not, or how much you get an approval for when it comes to a bank. But when it comes to all things considered, like the same relationship all across, they're one of the banks that's going to give you the most amount of funding. So what that means is it's not that you want to just apply just when you can, or just when you right there being qualified. You really want to maximize this because you can get the largest amount of funding. I mean, we've just had a client get 85K with Chase, and this is after all the changes that I'm going to tell you about here shortly. So, by the way, stick all the way into the end for that, because there are some changes that I need to tell you about. But this all went on a tangent of me talking about derogatories. But yeah, you don't want to go in with derogatories at all, okay? I told you about them. They're normally pool, Experian, TransUnion, or both. Like when I got my 150K business line of credit, they pulled TransUnion and they pulled Experian. They can pull Equifax, but it is more rare from what I've seen. Most of their products will require a personal guarantee. Now, as far as business requirements, no specific business credit score is required, but it helps. But this can be your first business credit card, and it will be fine if this is your first business credit card. As far as business utilization, it could be at 40%, and you're still good. Like I have here, I got my approval with the 150K line of credit at 40% utilization. Now, business checking account, definitely not mandatory. You can apply online, no problem, with no business checking account. However, is it recommended? No. It's recommended that you do. Okay, it's definitely recommended that you do apply for the business checking account. And which one? Let's talk about that now. As far as business checking accounts, the one that I would apply for is going to be the Chase Business Complete Banking. It's going to be their standard and their basic business checking account. Minimum to open $0, monthly fee of $15, which is waived if you have or you carry at least $2,000 in the business checking account, which is going to be a lot higher than normal banks. Normally it's going to be higher than most banks, I should say. But it's cool. $2,000, you can handle that. There's ways to get $2,000. Guys, look, if you're watching this video, you should know how to get access to $2,000 in cash, okay? If it comes from your personal credit on the business side, you should know how to pool credit to cash. I have a video on that. If you don't know how to do it yet, you should be able to get access to $2,000. Okay. All right. So don't let that be the determining factor from stopping you to getting this business checking account. Okay. But you do need 2K in there for sure. Now, the one I have, the business checking account I have, is the Chase Performance Business Checking Account. You don't have to do this. So it's because one of my main relationships is with Chase. Okay. One of my main ones. But you do have to have 35K monthly in your business checking account to avoid the fee. So that is for the more established business owners that have a little bit more cash and a little bit more reserves, right? 35K, if you're hearing that, you think it's crazy. It's not, compared to how, Fortune 500 companies, how much they have in reserve. It's not crazy. 35K is not crazy. And I would even say if you really know what you're doing, you can get access to 35K, no problem, right? I make sure my clients are able to. So anyways, this is one I have, but this is only if you're more seasoned and you actually want to build a relationship with Chase. Now, of course, they also have the Platinum Business Checking. This is recommended for the highest approvals, but you got to have 100K. So if you have 100K in cash to deal with, this is going to be the business checking account that you want to apply for. And this is going to give you the chances at getting the highest approvals on the business funding products, whether that be the business loan, the business credit cards, or the business lines of credit. And speaking of business credit cards, let's talk about that next. The business credit cards from Chase. Quick story, guys. Don't Hey, don't click off. Quick story. Let me tell you this before I go on. When I applied and got approved for the Chase 150K business line of credit, I posted a video about it a couple of months or like a month or two after I got approved. Posted it here on YouTube. I didn't post it with any agenda. Like, I wasn't trying to get clients from it or nothing. I was really just like, man, I want to share the data points because I hadn't seen anybody else actually with that high of an approval. But the video for the standards of the subscriber count and things like that, especially at the time I posted it, which I had probably had 100 subscribers at that time where I posted it, it really ended up taking off. Not right then and there. That's how it is with YouTube sometimes. It didn't take off right then and there, but it ended up getting, again, not a lot of views from the standpoint of millions and all that, but just from the standpoint of the amount of subscribers I have and everything. And it's really emboldened me to actually just continue on with YouTube. That was one of the things that really started me on this path. So, it holds a special place in my heart because I'm so glad that I started creating these videos and connecting with you guys. It's been great. And I've been doing YouTube now for over a year and I love it. I wish I had been putting out more videos earlier to share this information because there's not a lot of solid information about business funding on YouTube. For whatever reason, most of the guys like me that actually run this type of company, they don't really put out information on YouTube. So I'm not balancing between. I'm not a YouTuber. I am a business owner that puts out YouTube videos. But anyways, so it holds a special place in my heart here. Anyways, business credit cards with Chase. Now, the Chase business credit cards, you're going to have your ink and your cash that are going to be your 0% business credit cards. I would go over the new offer as far as the $900 back or 90K points if you spend 6K within 3 months. But they do change this all the time. Like currently it's 900 or 90K points, but it changes a lot. Sometimes it's 1,000. Sometimes you see that slash. A lot of times, how companies would do that just to make it seem like this is more. But no, it's definitely most times it's 750. So it'll change from 750 to 900, and you may even get a targeted offer. So, take that with a grain of salt. Right now, currently at the time I'm recording this, it's $900 cash back on the Chase Ink Cash or the Unlimited. Both of them really, they give you the same thing, just in a different form. Except for with the Unlimited card, you're going to get, so actually this is, I think that's reverse. Yeah, that's reverse. So both cards are pretty similar. Just know that it's going to be 0% interest for 12 months, but not on balance transfers. So keep that in mind. The Unlimited is 1.5% cash back on every purchase. And the cash is a little bit different. It's 5% cash back on select business purchases. Which one is better? Hey, it doesn't really matter. If you're going for the limits, if you're just looking for higher limit approvals, which most of you do, either one is fine. Now, can you double dip? That's one question that I get a lot of times. Can you double dip? From the standpoint of 2-for-1 inquiry, no. Chase will pull 2 inquiries 9 times out of 10. I've seen it be reported that they will go for both of these cars, which is one, but not really. From what I've seen, you're going to get 2 inquiries, but it's cool. Now, a lot of people sleep on the other business credit cards from Chase. I have all of them. So you have the Ink Business Preferred credit card that's not a 0% business credit card. However, this card, let me tell you guys something, and I've said this on other videos. So a lot of times you guys skip over cards like this, but these are the cards a lot of times that would give you higher limits than even the 0% cards. So the Ink Preferred and also the Business Premier also. So this is a card actually that has the highest potential to get the highest limits because it is a pay in full charge card. But that's not the best for a lot of you guys, right? So if you're looking to hold a balance or you know that what you're investing in is going to take that 6 to 12 months before you get that return on it, don't go for the Ink Premier card. That's for us that, you're able to make payments in full in statement every month, but the Ink Preferred is a good alternative. I would also base that on like my strategy as far as what I'm looking to do with my funding, how long it's going to take for my return on investment. A lot of you guys, you missing out on so much money by just thinking these decisions. It's just, I could just apply and get approved. with no strategy involved, you're really holding yourself back in business. But hey, a lot of you guys, you're not going to get that until it's already too late. But anyways, there's some strategy involved that I want to tell you about that here in a second. Now, the business lines of credit. I've already told you like 4 times about the business line of credit that I got approved for, but just know it goes from 10 all the way up to 500K. Is it still no docs? Colin, can I still get approved for no docs like you did? The answer is, drum roll, yes, but only contingent upon your relationship. This is not going to be a business line of credit that you just apply for it with no docs, especially anything past 50K without an established relationship. But you can get up to 50K with no docs, even if you don't have the most amazing relationship. But I have videos breaking all of this down individually as far as going into even more details of how to get an approval. But just know the interest rate is still pretty good right now. Ranges from prime 2.20 to 7.15%. And then you can get the prime rate online. So you would combine that, and that's pretty much going to be your interest rate. And also, if you want to improve your chances at getting approved for this, what you want to do is you want to actually apply for the merchant account with Chase. Show that you're actually receiving payments from clients or customers. It's going to help out your chances with this a lot, especially depending on the amount of cash that you hold and how you apply, which we will talk about here shortly. Now, again, just what you need to know, 50 up to 50K, no docs, even without the best relationship. But the better relationship, the higher the chances of approval. And typically they're going to do 10% of your annual revenue. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you're a big time shot caller, all right, and you want to get up to $5 million, especially anything past 500K, they're going to have a secured option. So collateral is going to be required either in real estate, equipment, or just your cash. You have to put cash in for it, essentially some type of business asset. So just keep that in mind. And it will be a personal guarantee too as well. I would apply with this with a business relationship manager. You're pretty much going to have to, because they're not going to let you just apply online for a 500K business line of credit. You just boom, boom, and you get approved for it, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, I'm sprinkling a lot of my best information all throughout the video, so you have to watch the whole thing to get it instead of just trying to skip through and all of that, because y'all need to watch the whole video. I'm telling you, that's the way you get all the information. You don't miss anything. Put it on 1.5 or 1.25 times the speed, or even 2 times the speed if you need to make sure you're getting everything, but you definitely need to. So something else I want to tell you, maximum exposure. Chase has a maximum exposure of 250K before they start asking for docs. So you need to keep that in mind. So for someone like me that got 150K all at one time, now I only have 100K that I could do with all the other products, and I already have the business credit cards. Yikes. So if I want to avoid docs, all my other products within the bank, even the personal credit cards, all need to be 100K or less. And that's just the maximum amount. That doesn't mean that you're going to be exactly at 250K. Your specific maximum exposure, that's just the most that they'll do before they start asking for docs. Yours might be 50K. So if you get 250K cards or 225K cards and you're at 50K and you apply for the third business credit card, they may ask for docs. So that's just something to keep in mind. It is very important to understand your maximum exposure before you apply, because you could waste an inquiry if you don't understand that. And like for me, I know that if I go for a business loan, now I'm going to have to provide docs. Something I get because I know the maximum exposure, instead of me just going in all willy-nilly and applying for something that I know that I'm going to get asked for docs for, or it may be in a case that you even won't get an approval for. So when it comes to the term loans, they go up to 500K monthly payments. Some banks, or a lot of fintech companies, they'll do weekly payments. So that's not the case here. The terms are normally up to 5 years, and there's no origination fee. That's what I like. Prepayment fees are only for loans that are over 250K, so you can pay down this loan early. But keep in mind here, it says that you must be in business at least 2 years under the same majority ownership. What that means is that you cannot skip and actually get approved for this term loan or for the business line of credit, because the same rules apply if you have a business that's less than 2 years old. So that's a major data point. A lot of you guys don't understand that, and you get to applying, you get denied. They're not telling you why. A lot of times on these denial letters, they're not telling you why. So a lot of you guys, I'm telling you, I see it so much with clients. The reason they got denied is here, and the reason they think they got denied is way over here. Like, this is completely different reason. You guys be like, oh, my inquiries are this, but it's really utilization, or oh, my utilization is this and not that. It's your inquiries. It's a lot of times opposite from what you guys really think. But anyways, it's because they don't just tell you. You have to really know what you're looking at. But yeah, as far as Chase, for not for the business credit cards, but for the line of credit and for the line of credit and for the term loans, you're going to have to be in business for 2 years. You have to be in business for 2 years. You have to have an LOC for 2 years. You cannot do a foreign, not a foreign entity, excuse me, an H corp. You cannot buy a corporation because you have to be in ownership for 2 years. So if you buy one and you are not the majority owner for 2 years, then you would not be eligible for these products. Now, Chase also has the equipment and vehicle loan and also the commercial real estate financing too as well. And they also have the SBS financing for the 7A, 504, and the express loans. Just keep in mind with the, say, micro loans here with the SBA, they will go up to 50K or so before they start asking for a lot of docs. And SBA, when it comes to docs, if you don't know, the documentation is heavy. They ask for projections. They ask for debt schedules. They ask for, of course, tax returns. They ask for bank statements. They ask for a personal financial statement. They ask for a business plan. It's a lot of documentation. If you've been through it before, you already know that. It's a lot of documentation. But if you have someone that you work with, especially, it's going to help out a lot. Someone that can help you gather these documents. It makes all the difference. But Chase is one of the banks that I would go to as far as going through the SBA program if I don't already have a higher amount SBA loan. Now, let's go over a lot of the changes. Number one change. Let's talk about it. Let's address it outright. Chase and the business relationship manager situation. Okay. A lot of you guys have heard this up to this point. A lot of you have not. But if you went to any business, anyone that does business funding, and you see them get their clients approved for high limits, 50K, 75K, even 100K, like I have for a ton of my clients, this no longer is an option for a lot of you guys, but it's still there. Let me explain. If you have a newer business and you haven't generated revenue, it's not going to be advised that you send that account to a business relationship manager, but it's okay. If you know what you're doing and you're strategic and you go after the right cards and your application is solid and you set up right, you still can get the same limits that you could with a relationship manager, at least similar. Okay. Again, like I just told you earlier, I had a client get approved for an 85K approval pretty much because we transfer balances. That's another thing. But an 85K approval with Chase. So it's 85K. And this is way after the changes that Chase has made in early 2025. So it is something to keep in mind. I told you about the Chase maximum exposure. But another thing, Chase loves to see activity in your business checking accounts. So don't open an account and just leave money there expecting the best results. You do want to create activity there too as well. Chase also heavily favors profiles with, well, if you have a very strong profile, they'll give it out to you. Okay. So a lot of times it's better to wait, even if you have to wait 30 to 90 days to build up first before applying. Because like we don't go to Chase first with every single client just because they're a bank that will give out money to clients. It really depends, right? It depends on where you are. You have to be strategic about this, right? But if you do have the solid profile, they will give it out to you if all things else are considered, right? The relationship, what you put on your application, because you can put your revenue too high if you're using projected revenue and all of that. So you do have to be careful. But if you do have a solid profile, it's going to be good for you. Now, the next thing, two things. They're going to give you out higher limits based on comparable credit. So if you have higher limits on your personal credit cards, then it's more likely that you're going to get a higher limit with Chase. Keep in mind, though, this is all relative, right? We've seen approvals with the highest card, 5K, and they still get 50K plus with Chase, but this is going to increase your chances. So if you have a card with a 25K plus limit on the personal side, it's more likely that you'll be able to do that or more on the business side. So just keep that in mind. You can't go for credit limit increases and things of that nature, or a new card if needed. Also, Chase does not like this. This is something I haven't seen anyone talk about. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to go over a lot of you guys' head, unfortunately. But that's why you work with somebody, so they can kind of look at these things for you, because it's going to be something that, look, trust me, I'm not saying this to sound a certain way or come off a certain way. I'm just being honest with you guys. A lot of guys that do business funding, guys and gals that do business funding, they come to me for a lot of these things because they know how in detail I get with the information and how many clients that we work with and how I keep data and things of that nature. So you're getting the real here. But let me tell you something. Chase, I ain't giving this out. I haven't given this out yet, so I got to put it out. Okay. Chase, they do not like if you do not actually use your cards or you haven't before in the past. What does that mean? So if you have, say, 100K total in personal credit limits, but you have only ever used like 5K total. Your cards, you have the limits, but you rarely ever use them. Chase will see that based on the history of how much you've used or maxed out on your cards, and you may get a low limit even if the rest of your profile is good. You may have heard someone, me or someone similar that's in a similar industry like credit repair or business funding too, that will say credit score is not everything. This is one of the main examples. So we've seen this before in the past. It's very, very important. If you've had maxed out cards before in the past, you will actually be more likely to get higher limits than someone that has barely used their cards. So is this something worth actually doing something about before you apply? Yes. That's why I say you got to have somebody who's really looking at the data. A lot of you guys, I'm telling you, you think it's way more simple than what it is. And it's just not. There's a lot of data points that go into actual high approvals. A lot of you guys think you're a lot closer to what you are, but you're not. Just being real with you. Now, again, that's going to go over a lot of people's heads. Ask me more questions about that if you want to. But if I'm applying for funding with Chase, I am really looking at my personal credit here. More than ever with anyone else, I'm going to make sure I'm on point, but it really depends on the strategy. I'm going to go through utilization, clean up my inquiries, make sure my business is structured properly, and then fund my business checking account. And go for credit limit increases too, if need be, because of that one data point that I told you. And then I'm going to start the relationship building. I'm going to apply for the Chase Inc. Unlimited first, more than likely. 10 to 15K is typical. Can be lower than that, of course. I will use that for 3 to 6 months, and also keep consistent deposits. And then utilization, keep that under 30%. I go for the Chase Inc. Preferred card for a higher limit, and that's one of the strategies now that we've been using in order to match what we used to get with working with business relationship managers. And by the way, I have a client, he tell you, and he came from my YouTube videos. I have well, at least one of the more recent clients I sent in. I've been sending them in all throughout, but we just recently sent in a client to a relationship manager. However, it really depends on if the business owner is new or not. If you're newer, then it's not advised really right now in the current climate. But if you are a business owner, you're established and you are generating revenue in your business, then we still can send you out to a business relationship manager with Chase and get approved for higher limits, 50K, 100K plus. So we have clients that do literally 100K all the time with Chase because, they have the most assets. It's not a big deal to get 100K with Chase, okay? And then from there, I would go for the line of credit or the term loan, or you can consider SBA options, but it really depends on your business and your funding goals, right? Now, without keeping you guys here for like an hour, this is the guide for getting business funding with Chase from someone with a lot of experience with Chase. I told you a lot of the data points, but at the end of the day, your unique situation, your unique personal profile is going to be what matters. I can give you all of this, but if I'm not taking a look at your profile and not talking to you, or at least being my team, we won't know exactly what you have going on. So it's not going to be the absolute best solution of what you see here, just being completely honest with you. You can take this and kind of form it depending on how much information you have about this, but it's going to be best to work one-on-one with someone. If you do want to work with us, all you have to do is go ahead and hit the link down below and schedule a call with me or my team. We will create a funding strategy right there on a call with you, go over which banks will give you access to the most amount of funding. And if you are interested in moving forward as far as moving forward in working with us to get access to up to $250K in business funding to either start, grow, or scale your company, we'll talk about how much that is and everything up to that point. But that is pretty much it. And if you like this video, I am sure you're going to like this video on the screen.